my teeth, I got a lot of shine, big time.
What's good, everybody? Welcome back to it. This is the Banques and Venom show. I go by the name DJ Venom. This is DJ Banks.
So,
our next guest needs absolutely no introduction.
it's too much right now.
No, it's a lot now.
I feel like it keeps getting bigger and bigger. Every episode is bigger than us.
Yeah, like, after we're done with the season,
Yeah.
I need to get verified because, like,
Oh, surely, yeah.
it's too much.
Too much right now, dog. It's bigger than us.
He hails from Mpumalanga.
Yeah.
Probably one of the longest standing hip-hop acts in the game.
Yeah.
Running on, like, a 15-year plus career.
Yes, sir.
Commercially, also.
Yeah. Not your underground or what.
Yeah.
You're consistent 15 years.
That's too much.
That's pretty long, eh?
Yeah. I was in primary school. No, I'm lying.
The first
I was in
album.
high school.
Yeah, the first album, I think I was in grade 8.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Fuck.
I was in grade 8. That's how long it's been.
Damn.
Like, I had an intro for him. He's the only man
Yeah.
in South Africa that was allowed to do push-ups on top of a taxi. Not anyway.
In Brie.
He did push-ups on top of a taxi.
In Brie.
Till today, no one can come. That's legendary status right there.
Ladies and gentlemen, KO.
Yes, sir.
What's up, boys?
How you doing?
That intro
Yeah,
for
so
so long,
bless.
dog.
You wanted the taxi part.
I want the
appreciate
taxi
that.
part.
Appreciate
Otherwise,
that.
you good?
I'm 1,000, boys.
You haven't done any interviews in a while, eh?
I mean, of course, with the pandemic
Yeah.
and everything, but yeah, I mean, I've been doing a lot of telephonics,
Okay.
especially with radio.
Yeah.
I'm happy that you guys actually have this platform now. This is pretty dope. Know what we do.
Thank
Guys,
you.
Just to clear, I'm a groupie right now, so understand.
Oh,
Okay.
fuck, you broke it. I wanted to say it
I'm a
myself.
groupie right now, dog. So
I wanted to say it.
understand. So, taking it all the way back, Teargas, right?
Yes, sir.
So I just feel like a lot of people know KO, and not a lot of people actually know you, even your real name. Because I mean, like, your AKA people knows Keaton Forbes, your
Yeah.
Casper people knows, we all
Yeah,
know
and
the
stuff,
names,
yeah.
but like
Word.
we don't actually know. I know, but like most people don't know your real name, where you
Yes,
were
sir.
born, and yeah. So just take us back.
Yeah, so my name is my real name, birth name, Ntogozo. That's my first name, and my surname is Mdluli. I was born in Soweto because my mom actually was working there as a nurse,
Yeah.
but home is in Mpumalanga, small town called Pichu Chief. I moved around a lot before they settled there. As a matter of fact, so there was my dad and my mom used to work at a hospital called in KZN called Ijele Juba Hospital, right? Like this is like, you feel me, like rural,
Yeah.
you feel me? So back then, that's where we used to reside as a family. And after that, we moved to another town in Mpumalanga called Ermelo. That's where I matriculated. And then after that, my parents moved to Pichu Chief, which is where my dad comes from. So as soon as my dad's mom passed on, so he felt the need to go and take care of his mom's house. So we actually, the house where we're living now,
Yeah.
was his mom's house. You feel me? So that's where the family is based at.
Interesting. And then do you have any siblings?
Yeah, I have 3 siblings, brothers, all boys.
Oh, okay.
Yes, sir.
You the oldest,
Second born.
second born. Okay.
Yeah, and yeah, some people might know. My youngest brother is AKA his road manager. His name is Sia.
No
Oh, for real?
Sia's your younger brother.
Yeah.
Don't lie.
Didn't know that.
Blood.
I thought Sia was related to my E.
Nah.
Because they've always like
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
always been together.
Best buddies. Yeah. He was managing my E at the time. So yeah, that's my little brother.
So Sia's the last born.
Yes, sir.
So I didn't know that.
So you're all in the entertainment space? Or?
No, the younger brother is also. So I mean, we live in the same estate, in the north. He is a CA, chartered accountant. Yes, sir. And then my old brother, we also staying with him over there. He is, how can I put it? He's someone who actually just, when as siblings, there's always just the one guy that makes certain decisions,
I get you.
In
Fully,
life.
I'm there.
But we doing our best, trying to support and his family.
It's crazy because his older brother
As a groupie, I can relate right now with something in common. I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying, man. I get what you're saying. So now, besides your being an artist, you actually have a qualification.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
So after matriculation, I went to study in the VAL, VUT, Vanderbilt Park. And the reason why I went there is because, I had an opportunity to go to Durban.
Okay.
What's it called now? Sharks are called.
UKZN.
Not
Which
UKZN. The other one. But anyway. No, the other joint.
Okay.
Anyway, so I had an opportunity to go there or come to Gauteng. So in high school, towards the end of my high school days, I developed obviously the passion for music and stuff, and I started writing and all that stuff. So being in a small town, and I'm sitting there, I'm like, all right, cool. The only way I could get close to accomplishing this dream that I have would be for me to move to Joburg. I don't see myself going anywhere else. I had people that I knew in Durban, and my relatives, because my mom is originally from the KZN.
Yeah.
So like my Zulu is like on 1,000. You know what I mean? Because my mom is from out there. All right. So
you speak that Durban Zulu, not the Joburg Texas Rank Zulu.
I got, you know what I mean? Like the real thing.
The ones where you can't hear anything.
The prototype.
Yeah.
I can get, pretty deep.
Yeah.
But I felt like my heart, was saying, you need to go to Gauteng, bro. Cool. I couldn't go to Wits or anything like that. So the VAR was the closest thing to me to being Joburg.
Yeah.
So I went out there, and it turned out to be a blessing because this very station here, right? My first week, I was listening to, so this is obviously OG days, Repactivity Jam, and I heard another homie that was rapping on there, and his name was my E, and he said he studied in the vault. I'm like, okay, cool. I want to meet this dude because there was no other hip hop head around, that I could link with.
Yeah.
Back there. So that week, there was a session at one of the stations over there, the campus radio, and it was a freestyle session. So we sitting in the waiting room. Everyone is waiting their turn to go in the booths and go spit. You feel me? And suddenly there's this guy that's sitting next to me, and he just kept on throwing questions at me, like, you feel me? Like, yo, who are you? Where you from? Boom, 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 right? And then finally he gave me his name. I'm like, dude, I've been looking for you on campus, bro. Nice to finally meet you. And that's how our friendship started, as a matter of fact.
What year was this?
Dude, this is OG days. This is like 97.
Sheesh.
Yeah.
Yo, 97. My dad got his first car in 97. I remember that clearly.
Yeah, like
so crazy.
I burned my dad's bed in 97.
What? But yeah, so you made my E
out there, and then
wait, before we jump into what qualification do you have? Well, I know.
Public relations.
Public relations.
Yeah, public relations management. Managed to finish. I didn't have the heart for it because my third year, so I was part of another little group that I started with another homie of mine from back home. So we made a demo and we crossed paths with Glenn Lewis.
Yes, the OG.
And he was working at the other station, right?
Yeah.
So
don't mention the name, yeah.
Yeah, you feel me? So he was working at the other station, and he rocked with us so much that he actually took the demo and he played it the next day on the station. Ooh. You feel me? So as youngins, you just getting gassed right there and there. It was like, oh damn, so we got it.
We on.
So boom. Now I skipped a year. You feel me? Instead of completing my you know, my studies out there. So that year it was just me just trying to find myself and thinking, all right, cool, this music thing is about to take, you know, the right turn.
Yeah.
And then unfortunately, you know, I found myself getting humbled because by the end of that year, like things were just not looking, you know, positive. So my dad sat with me and was like, yo, check this out. So we've already invested the little that we can in getting you an education.
Yeah.
I mean, cool. I know that you're passionate about this whole music thing, but I think just out of respect and appreciation, just being grateful, just see the shit through, my people. You feel me? And I had to take it on the chin, and so the next year I went back, knocked it out, got the qualification, and then the year after that, got my first job. So my first job, the only thing I was doing, I was just, my salary was going straight into demos. Demos. You know, so we started making a whole lot of music with, you know, the homies, my E&M and Teargas, and
Were you KO at that point, or were you still?
nah. So my name at that time was Collapse.
Hey, Chineke.
You feel me? Collapse with the
Collapse.
K. With a K. Yeah.
With the
yeah,
K.
yeah.
So how did you switch? How did Collapse go from? How did you go from Collapse to KO?
So this the first album. When you go look at the first album, the Teargas album, when you look at the artwork. So our names cool listed on there. So I was Collapse, and then second album, some reason because when I was watching, because obviously this was our introduction to the game, the first album, and just seeing how people were just like gravitating to these dudes, bro. Like my E and Teargas are more than me at the time. You know, I mean, I came in, I'm not gonna lie, I was a little gassed. I'm thinking, okay, cool. So you like a little light-skinned kid
Light-skinned nigga,
in the
you know,
group.
yeah.
So, you know,
Ladies, man,
I have
you
an
know,
upper
yeah.
I have an upper hand.
Yeah.
Dude, they was not seeing me, bro. There was not him. Like, bro, it was crazy. Like, so my ego was a little bruised. My self-esteem wasn't on 1,000.
Yeah.
And when I go back and listen to that album, it just sounded like I was just all over the place. You know, my pen wasn't as sharp as it might be right now. You know,
But like, not to interrupt, but
Yes,
don't
sir.
you feel you were still trying to find yourself back then?
I mean, of course, you know,
Yeah.
I mean, I saw it early because here's the thing about it. When you come into the game, or if you're in the game, right?
Yeah.
If you are someone that is solely living in a cocoon, in your little cocoon on some, you're just thinking everything that you do is perfect.
Perfect, yeah.
Then you're not gonna have a long, lifespan in this game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You need to be someone who is in tune with everything that's happening, you know, even around you. You know, I mean, sometimes when they say, when people talk about you, it's none of your business. You need to make it your business sometimes because there are some things that might help you, improve yourself, you know, where you need to. You know what I'm saying? So I do a lot of that. I mean, I'm not cool. There's social media and all that. Like a lot of people will get on Twitter and click on their hashtag.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. What are people saying about KO today?
yeah.
I don't do that, right? But I know where to go when I'm looking for the right pointers and criticism. You know what I mean? There are people's opinions who I trust and who will tell me how it's supposed to be. And I take that home and then I ingest it and, you know, I come back, you know, with a better shot the next day. So that's just the type of person that I am. So I took that with me. So going into the second album, when you go back and you listen to the Teargas catalog, when you go,
Second on
when you hear
Wafa
the-
Wafa.
yeah.
Yeah.
when you go listen to that, now my name is KO. So cool. Like I said, K collapsed with a K.
K, yeah.
So I just remove all the other letters and then I just left it at KO, right?
I actually thought you got it from the Tokozo.
I mean,
Yeah,
so
me too.
Yeah,
I
there's
shouldn't
that.
have thought- yeah.
Of course, there's that, and then I also in the back of my mind, I'm like, okay, cool. I mean, it's not foreign as well from my real name at the same time. You know what I mean? But also, was just me transitioning into now just from some gassy rapper to like an MC.
yeah.
You know what I mean? So my pen started, you know, sounding a little crazy. You know, the swag. You know what I mean? I started cleaning up. You feel me? For some reason, at the end of that album, You know, now now I had the eyeballs. You feel me?
Yeah.
And that actually also helped me sound even better when we went to Darko Blue. You know, it's because I'm watching all these things in real time. I'm like, okay, cool. Also, they like that. Okay, cool. We're gonna double back with even a better version of that. You know what I mean? So that's why when you listen to my albums, a lot of times it almost feels like I get better with every album. You know, because I'm taking everything that I'm learning from here. Okay, they like this. Okay, cool. I'm gonna take that and juxtapose it with this other new ish that I'm trying to do, and then boom.
So
we evolve
just
to the
That
next
word,
level.
sorry, that word kills me because like there was such a debate about it when he said on the song, juxtapose.
Yeah. Dog, people were fighting it. No, you can't Google. I'll show
I would
you.
like, I had to also Google on
I
some
was like, no,
Yes,
man.
sir.
What's this word?
juxtaposition.
Okay. So
Yes,
just
sir.
to take it back, 2006, you guys dropped your first album, Teargas, right? I know you explained how you met my E. So how did Teargas come into the picture? But I know they're related, right?
So, sorry, I skipped that. I met my E 97. Oh no, I'm actually wrong. 98 is when I met my E. 99. That's when Teargas also came to campus. He also, you know,
Are they related?
yeah, they brought blood
brothers.
brothers.
Yes,
yeah,
yes,
yeah.
Who's older?
My E, right?
Okay.
So it came out there, and then obviously him being, you know, them being brothers. I mean, it was automatic, you know, for us to be friends. It's almost like the same with me and Sia.
Yeah.
You know, and my E and Sia.
Yeah, so that's your first album. I'll say first commercial single that's what I heard about you guys was Chance. That was from your first album, right? And how was the process of making that song? Was it
Was very tough. I'm not gonna lie. Because so we had this guy that we were working with. So we were not a group when we started off.
really?
Yeah.
So even when your first album dropped, you're not a group.
So remember I mentioned that little group, that little stint
Yeah,
with,
that you're in,
with,
yeah.
with the other homie.
Yeah.
So that didn't last for long, and then I became a solo artist. So I'm spending a lot of money recording my own demos, but at the same time, because I'm so close to the two homies, every other record has them in it, right? When we do shows, I'm bringing them out with me, you know. And I mean, the first show that we did was a Squatter Camp Gussie tour that they had back in the day, and I actually hustled my way. Sugar Smacks Lebza had his dad had a salon downtown.
Okay.
Right, and the job that I was doing was downtown as well. So I heard the homie was out there in my vicinity, so I would go whenever he pulls up, you know, to the store and like really hassle him on some ish, you know, trying to play him the music. And he, for some reason, like just him being a real dude, he just took a liking in me pulling up every other day. And this is when Squatter Camp actually had Nkuku function. Like they were like,
They were on top.
you know what I mean?
Yeah, that was the hardest thing. Yeah.
So for that, you know, for a homie like that to be comfortable enough to say, all right, cool, I like what y'all niggas is doing. Actually, let me take this and go jam it for the rest of the team and hear what they have to say.
Yeah.
Because initially we were supposed to sign to Squatter. Right?
Oh.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, bro.
All three of you guys.
Yeah.
As Teargas.
As well,
It wasn't named Teargas
it
yet.
wasn't Teargas, but like, you know, I was always about, because that's why you even see me even to this day. Like, I always want to have like, you know, people around me. When I'm doing good, I want to come up with other people, right?
True.
So I went with my music there, but it also had the homies in it. So I was like, yo, these are the homies that I'm rocking with. So if you sign us, you're gonna sign me, and then you're gonna sign them as a group, because they were a group. So you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I'm actually knocking on their door for all three of us. You smell me?
Yeah.
So, and then he was like, all right, cool, let me go play this for Slicker. And the next day he calls me, he's like, yo, Slicker wants you guys to come be part of the tour. And we have the first show this Saturday. And I'm like, oh, damn, that's crazy. Right? It moved really fast, right?
Yeah.
So, and then we had this one dude that we were busy talking to. We wanted him to be our manager or to also help us, you know, get the right deal and whatnot.
Yeah.
And so he was like, okay, cool. I'm not too sold on what you guys are doing, but you say you guys have a show this Saturday.
Yeah.
I'm gonna come out there and see what you guys are capable of.
And who was the dude?
His name is Busiso Shabalala.
Okay.
Yeah, he was a hustler of his own,
Yeah.
doing his own thing. So anyway, he comes to the show, and we were performing just before Hidden Force. Remember Hidden Force?
Yeah.
They were also like doing some great things, as a Kasi group. So we jumped on before them, man, and we crushed it, bro.
Killed it.
like, and I remember just like the Squatter Cam dudes just coming backstage. I mean, homies were fronting at first,
Yeah.
while we were out there. And then as soon as we jumped off, and then they saw how we shook the crowd, and then suddenly
lost
now,
their mind.
homies are like tapping us, and we're like, oh, damn. So actually,
Okay,
this
we
is
here now.
This is a
Yeah,
reality.
yeah.
So fast forward, so because of what they had seen there, they were like, okay, cool, come do, the rest of the tour. And then the homie that came there was like, all right, cool, I'm sold.
Yeah.
I'm gonna work with you guys. And then it's because now it's like I said, it's me as a solo artist, and then these dudes are a group, but there's so much chemistry in just us as a unit.
Yeah.
And then it's like, dang, the manager dude, he's like, yo, cool. As much as I see what you guys are trying to do, but truth of the matter is I can't get 2 deals.
Yeah.
You feel me?
Can't push two different. Yeah.
And you already have like such great chemistry amongst the 3 of you guys. How about Teargas was actually my E and
Duza.
Yeah.
Oh.
Right? I was just collapsed, obviously.
Yeah.
Right? So, and then the homie was like, all right, cool. Why don't you guys just pick a name and call yourselves, and become a group?
Yeah.
And I already liked the name Teargas. So I
Teargas.
was like, all right, cool. I'm going to fall under that, And that's how we became a group.
That's crazy. That's crazy, actually. So that's what. Fast forward now. You guys, Teargas is formed. I'll skip the first and second album. Let's touch on the third album.
Yeah, Dark and
2009, you guys dropped Dark and Blue.
Yeah.
And that's when you guys had Klobawami,
Go
Go Away.
Party 101.
Yeah,
What a year.
Take it easy.
what a year, bro.
Yeah.
That album has so many hits.
Yeah.
It's actually
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
And I was watching back then. Obviously, I didn't know the guys, so I was watching the stuff, and the guys from Teargas, the guys from Squad came on the videos, and
Yeah.
literally everyone
Yeah.
that you mentioned,
The camaraderie was
yeah,
crazy.
everyone that you mentioned were actually on the video.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's so crazy, and that album did really well.
What a
Yes, sir.
year.
Hot take. I've never said this on any other platform, so I'm going to say this here because, sometimes we sit and wait for our own flowers. But I told niggas this year I'm actually boom ganging my flowers. You feel me? Like
Yeah.
I'm gonna snatch them shits off of
I
people's
read
hands.
you
That's what I'm
tweet
doing.
the other day. You mentioned that this album you're gonna drop that you're working on.
Yes, sir.
You're
Yes,
asking
sir.
for flowers and you're snatching flowers.
Yes,
dog.
sir.
You're
So-
snatching. Yeah.
So check this out. I think that album, cool. You have your Cuckoo Function. You have the Donkey Sun album, and then I think you have that album,
yeah.
and you have Skhanda Republic.
Yeah.
Now look at it this way. I'm the only guy who is involved in two classics.
Yes.
In the entire culture.
Yeah.
2 classics
Yeah.
under my belt. You feel me? So, and I think it just says a lot about the type of guy that I am. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Because some people might not even know, and I don't put this out there. That album, I had to see through it top to bottom. I'm talking about even the beats, some of the beats that we received. I mean, Dukes are made in Klobawami,
Yeah.
but it was a demo,
word?
right?
That's my first song. Now I'm in the hands of a scoop from the song, though.
Yes, sir.
Crazy.
You feel me?
Hey, man, I was a play. When I dropped the joint in the club, oh, man. It's a rap, dog. It's a rap. But yeah,
Right.
carry on. Yeah.
Yeah, so Dukes I made the first version of that beat, and then I had to take that and go to shout out to Afro Traction. There's a homie called Afro Traction who's an artist, he's amazing, also from Omalanga. So I had to go and sit with him and actually refine that whole thing and turn it into what it sounded like, right?
Oh.
So it's just me and him in the studio. The same goes for Take It Easy. Take It Easy was made by there's a homie back in the day who used to be an editor for Hype magazine, Mizzy.
Okay.
So he made that, and I had to go and sit with Afro Protection and put that whole thing together, right? So, and then even the mixing and all that other stuff, the mastering, I had to see through it because Dukes had a 9 to 5 at the time.
Okay.
So it was my job in my to see through the project. But my like he's a cool guy. He's more of, I think he was probably the glue. Like he's the one that actually, even to this day,
Yeah.
when he's in the room, the ice breaks.
Yeah.
You feel me? Because he's sociable, is like, he's got so much charisma. So he wouldn't spend a lot of time in the studio and doing the back end of the stuff, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So he was more out there. So I had to sit through it and just do the entire A&Ring of the entire project. I mean, Sobowami wasn't actually that version that you're hearing. The first version that was done, E and Dugza recorded their verses. It was a rap song, right?
Yeah.
And I was listening to it. I'm like, wait, something is telling me this is not supposed to be a rap song.
Yeah.
Remember, this was taboo now back in the. This is
yeah.
09, right?
Yeah.
Like everyone
Niggas
raps.
is rapping.
Everyone's rapping,
Yeah.
like,
You feel me?
bars after bars.
Yes,
There
sir.
was nothing.
I'm like, forget that, bro. I feel like we need to just like harmonize on this
vocals.
joint.
You know what you remind me of? Didi,
Yes, sir.
when Didi and BH were coming up.
Yeah.
So Didi explained how everyone was a hardcore rapper. Everyone
Oh,
was
when they were doing,
so
very.
Didi's like, you know what, dog, let's bring the soul. Let's start sampling
Yeah.
this shit. Now
Yeah.
you get B.I.G. on those commercial.
Yeah.
Yeah, like-
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, that's the spin that I felt like we had to apply. Because the reason why actually how that song came about, that song was inspired by. Do you remember a record called was it Get Paid or something? Akon, Young Jeezy, Lil
Get
Wayne.
Paid.
Yes, get paid. Yeah.
Get Paid, right? That song came out shortly after Akon came to this country. He was doing a show at the Dome. I swear to God, I felt like the melodies that he used in the progression
Yeah.
were inspired by a song called, there's an OG artist from out here by the name of Rex Rabani,
Yeah.
right? I swear to God, there's a record in there that had the same chord progression.
I have to go listen to it.
It's almost like, yeah, bro. It's almost like when freaking Ja Rule came out here, and then he went and he made
That's
New
just the
York.
between.
Yes.
Oh,
He actually took that off the Mendoza record, Galagata. If you listen to New York,
Yeah.
dun, 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 dun,
Yeah.
feel me?
Shit, that's fucking crazy.
because people don't actually pay attention to those kind of things. So anyway,
Damn.
so that the Akon record. So
Yeah.
we're like, oh shit, this nigga actually might have jacked the Rex Rabani joint.
Yes.
So that's how we made Sobowami. It was also inspired by one of the Rex Rabani. So when we listened to one of the Rex Rabani records,
Yeah.
and the first version actually might have had a sample in it, and then the homie Afro Traction just turned it into like an original composition. So that's how the whole thing was built.
All like this is our show, but I'm learning so much.
no,
It's
I'm
crazy.
stuck on that.
Like
Mendoza
I'm
one.
blown away. I'm blown
Exactly,
away.
yes,
So
sir.
now, 2012, Teargas drops the last album,
Number, yeah,
number,
yeah.
right? In that point in time, had you, KO, were you really mentally thinking about leaving, or
sir.
so? How'd you guys break up?
So here's what happened. The first time I did a solo feature, it was
Was not El Tito.
no, it was Jabba, WHP, rest in peace. It was a song called Ritwachule on one of the albums over there. And this was like Eddie's peak and stuff. So the fact that he actually, that was the first guy that called me directly. Was, yo, I see what you niggas is doing. Y'all nice. And I'm a fan. But I want to have you on the feature. I'm like,
Come
okay,
here.
cool. Right there. So that put the battery on my back.
Yeah.
Cool. Boom. Killed that. And the next thing I knew, a year later, Tito gives me the same call.
Yeah.
Right? And then We Rolling is going crazy.
Classic.
Classic.
Right.
So
So,
shout out to El Tito.
yes, sir, that's my guy.
Classic.
Classic.
Classic. Yeah.
And then the OG that we were signed to at Electromode, Chris Galakis,
Word.
he says, yo, and this is obviously now at the height of Darko Blue and everything is
Blue, yeah.
happening, and then We Rolling is happening at the same time. So, and then he's like, you know what? I think it's time for you to actually start thinking about a solo project. I'm like, that's never gonna happen, right?
Yeah.
Because again, it goes back to what? When I'm straight, I know I need
Yeah.
to make sure the
make sure
homies is
the
good
streets,
at the
yeah.
same time. You know what I mean? It was never about me.
Yeah.
You feel me? So 2012, we are working on now Number. And then there were times where while we were recording, we have a session, and we get to the studio and we're getting kicked out because Dukes have booked the studio before us. Like, wait, so what's going on? It's like, no, this is my session.
So he was going on a solo project.
Yeah,
already.
he was building his mixtape, right? I'm like, dang.
Who owned the studio?
Electro Mode.
Electro Mode.
Yeah.
So you guys were not aware that Teargas was already working on his own solo project.
Well, I mean, he had mentioned it that he actually wants to do that, and we were supportive of it. But like now, here's a time where we are actually working on the Teargas project.
Yeah,
but he ended up, would actually building. He was building that his tape in parallel with this Teargas album. So and. Cool. It was no problem, but at the same time, it also just felt like, okay, cool. Dude feels like he's comfortable enough to jump off the porch and go out there and be a solo artist, and that is great. We're gonna support it. I still, even at that time, didn't feel like I needed to. I still didn't feel like I needed to match that energy because outside of just me being true to the team, I also just wasn't confident enough. Just say, do you think people are actually even interested in just hearing me or like
you by yourself?
You know what I mean? Or being on stage without these guys? That is impossible.
And this already after you did a feature with Tido, WHP,
God's Wall, and then, you know what I mean? And I'd kill all these verses. The appetite was already there. You know what I mean? 100%. I would see the calls on social media as well, like, yo, can't wait for you to do some solo-ish and this, that, and the third, right? But I still I was playing the team game the whole way. But when Homie decided to take the plunge and, do his solo thing, it almost kind of also, instilled some level of confidence to say, damn, so if there's an actual calling for me to do this, and Homie's doing it, I might fuck around and look like a bitch in this. Yeah. You know what I mean? So maybe let me pull my act together and also try something at it as well. And then that's how Mission Statement came about and Karakara and all that stuff. And then the whole CashTime Life situation.
I wanna talk about, before we get into that era. Fuck, you've actually reinvented yourself so many times.
Bro, it's actually crazy.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
CashTime Fam.
Yeah.
When did they come about?
So
the CashTime Fam situation, this is pre-CashTime Life, right?
Yeah. Just break it down. CashTime Life, CashTime Fam, CashTime this. It gets confusing.
Yeah, so CashTime Fam, we picked up Kid X, Smash, Zinger now, obviously, AB Crazy.
Yeah.
And we made that album called Now or Never.
Yeah.
So it was just all of us, Teargas, the three Teargas members and the three youngins.
Yeah.
We built that entire body of work together.
Did you find the youngins together, or?
So I found, again, Caesar and Scoop.
Scoop had a show.
Yes, sir.
That show was crazy.
We pull up the one time, and Zinger was on there, and I'm like, oh, cool, I like this kid. Like the way he was sounding on the mic and the confidence. I'm like, oh, cool. Let me have your number. And then we started chatting. And, he pulled up to the crib the one time, and I was like, yo, so tell me, I'm actually thinking of doing something, I'm thinking of building a whole new movement around, outside of the whole Teargas thing, right? Yes, this is still going to be on the back of Teargas, and Teargas is going to endorse the entire situation.
Money, young money.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So, but obviously, I don't really have my ear out there in the streets like that. You probably know some homies that you think we can tap into.
Yeah.
And it's like, I know this dude called Kid X, right? And then boom, 2 days later, he pulled up with X, and X was sounding crazy. Signed on the spot. And then AB Crazy was actually doing his thing as well at the time, on some underground-ish. I would hear a whole lot of his stuff on YFM and whatnot. And then there was a homie that we knew at Jazzworks, the studio where we were recording, who was actually mixing his stuff. There was a guy called Don Juan back in the day. And I was like, yo, I actually messed with this kid. And he's like, yeah, I don't work with him anymore, this, that, and the third, boom, boom, boom. And I'm like, cool, give me his number. Hit him up, linked up, boom. He was part of the team. So that's what became CashTime
Fam.
Fam, right? We put out the body of work, and then unfortunately, a year later, AB Crazy felt like he wasn't getting enough shine amongst the group, so he just felt like he wanted to go and do his own thing. All right, cool. Continue with that, my dog. So now we stuck with these two youngins, right? And I'm thinking, damn, so how do we do this? Like, we can't continue calling this whole thing CashTime Fam, and then we only just have like these two kids.
Yeah.
And then it's also happening at the same time where I'm now about to launch my solo career, right?
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, cool. Maybe
You've already dropped mission statement at this point.
nah, not yet, right? So I'm like, so transitional period in my life, maybe let me try see if I can set up an actual record label, right? And get these individuals come in as solo artists. I don't want no groups no more, because I'm about to, you know what I mean, launch myself in the same direction as well. So I'm also coming in as a solo artist. But I always knew, even to this day, like I always knew as long as there's breath in my lungs, you know, and as long as I'm still as passionate as I am about life and everything else and pursuing my dreams, I'm always gonna be okay, you know?
Yeah.
So I was like, all right, cool. I can have all these W's all by myself, or again, the same camaraderie from Teargas. I can share this moment with other people.
Yeah.
So when I'd built so much anticipation for mission statement, I was like, nah, instead of me just dropping mission statement, that day of the release, it came out with two other songs. It came out with a song with Kid X and Smashes, and then another record that had Mugs, called Skhanda, that had Mugs, Pro Kid, DJ Vigilante, and my
Was that that was VG's one, right?
Yeah, yeah.
That was Vicious track.
Yeah, that was VG's. So that all, when we were launching CashTime Life, that's now how.
Actually, I remember
So
that.
we launched CashTime Life with those three records when they came out.
those,
You know what I mean? That day alongside
But
Mission
like you
Statement.
didn't mention actually why or how Teargas broke up.
So
So you mentioned Tugza proceeding his own solo career.
So I mean, it was now looking like, all right, cool. So homie wanted to focus on that. We were still, me and my ear was still, you know, very much for the group, you know. But unfortunately, group dynamics were for the first time just like hitting us hard, right? Homie is now Dukes. I was feeling like, nah, you know, I actually deserve my own moment, you know. So yeah, y'all can do what y'all want to do and whatnot, right? So when the CashTime Life thing was happening, when I was launching that, those three records that I just mentioned, one of them obviously had my E in it,
yeah.
and the other ones had Smashes and Kid X.
Yeah.
Dudes that's not in sight, right?
Was this on purpose or
To be real with you, I think I purposely didn't include him in that whole thing because I felt like he was having his own moment with the tape anyway, right?
Yeah.
And he was so adamant about him not wanting to be
part of around you
whatever
guys.
that
Yeah.
I, for the most part, was engineering, because he just felt like he didn't want to be around in my shadows to some degree.
You've always engineered most of the stuff that you, because I was speaking to your manager Tulu behind the scene, and you were just chatting about everything in general, and you pointed out how you were always onto everything. You were making sure how everything should be done, how everything, even as far as managing the group at a certain point.
I was actually the manager,
The manager of Teargas.
So
Yeah.
that's how I developed the passion for entrepreneurship and also the record label thing, because sorry man, it's just so many layers in this whole situation.
No, the thing
right?
what I enjoy about this interview, right? You are literally all the questions I have in my head. When you answer one question, you answer all the other three that's coming up.
Yeah, it's
And
because
I enjoy it.
I'm a scatterbrain.
Yeah, no, it's cool. I'm enjoying this,
unfortunately,
yeah.
you know. So the homie that I mentioned earlier, who actually made us, become a group.
Yeah.
The second year, before we did Wafa Wafa, we unfortunately had to cut ties with him.
Okay.
You know, because there was like discrepancies in the business and this, that, and the third. So now here we are. We are in our sophomore year.
Yeah.
The only relations that we know we're through this guy.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So now we just like these rappers who don't have any business acumen.
Yeah.
So we had to literally start this entire
think,
situation from scratch. Right? And we are flat broke. Imagine 2006, we had won, crazy awards for that entire chance and, that whole album, right? And then the next year, we are like nowhere to be found.
Damn.
You feel me?
Yeah.
So we had to like scratch the surface all over again. You feel me? So now I had to consciously get out there and try and source business, for us, promoters, coming to radio, back in the day. I think RIP Monday was still running the show out here.
Yeah.
Had to come out here and and just plead with the homie for support, Fresh and everyone else. Yeah. And so I had to help build the entire situation from scratch. So that's how I kind of learned the back end of just the music business. I was the go-to guy when promoters wanted to book us, when brands,
Want to work with
you
you
know what I
guys,
mean?
yeah.
So that's how I developed that side of me, that passion
Are
for it.
Are you still speaking terms on Teargas?
Funny enough, just yesterday, I saw Teargas for the first time in 3 years.
3 years.
Yeah.
And then the breakup, was it bad blood? Was it like...
So a lot of things happened, bro. Like, the craziest thing is me and Teargas I was closer to Teargas than my E.
Really?
Like, Teargas was like my best.
I think that goes for everyone. Like, when people, friendship or whatever goes the separate way, it's always the people that are really close to each other.
Yes, sir.
And that's what hurts the most,
Yeah, Yeah. So anyway, when that whole CashTime Life thing was being launched, he felt like now he was excluded from that,
Yeah.
because we didn't want him to shine, quote unquote. You feel me?
Yeah.
So we're like, no, it wasn't actually even like that. We just felt like you have your whole your mixtape thing going on and whatnot, right? And then boom, Kara drops.
Yeah.
Right? This is in the midst of us promoting number and everything, right?
Yeah.
And so now we go do shows, and then people actually want to hear Kara during a Teargas set. Ooh. Right? Ooh. So now it
gets awkward, bro. It gets tricky.
You know what I mean? It's getting, it's looking a little funny now because homie doesn't feel like he's part of that situation. So why is it supposed to, have any type of life, on a Teargas platform, right? So, and then as that whole thing was happening, I also now helped my E come up with go-go in him, right? And then he was also starting to build his own momentum, right? And then suddenly, I remember the last show actually that we did. The last show, I remember like it was yesterday. It's Teargas. This was 2014, Durban, July.
Okay.
On the Thursday, that's the last show that we did as Teargas. And, we never put this out there, but homie felt like, this has to be the last Teargas show, right?
So he told you guys on the spot?
Before, actually leading up to that show.
Okay.
Because the same guy, Tsulu, my business guy, he was doing the Teargas bookings at the time. He was doing the admin, the paperwork. So one day he just called him and was like, yo, don't take any more bookings, any more Teargas bookings. If, the niggas are interested in this CashTime Life situation, let them run with that. Okay. But I don't want Teargas to be affiliated with any of that, and it was heartbreaking, But, again, just knowing that, God, really lives. Yeah. And we had started something so great, it just turned out that the CashTime thing, ended up just, growing and becoming what it became.
At Teargas Prime, how much are you guys charging per show?
Teargas Prime.
I'm talking about the Dark and Blue and the Dark and Blue album drop.
Here's the thing, bro. Here's the thing. Being in this country, you know how the game goes. Your rate sometimes has to just like fluctuate as much as as often. As you know possible, what I mean?
Yeah.
So at best, I think maybe the biggest, and this is not because this is what was being offered, but we just felt like, for us to get out there as much as we can,
Yeah.
maybe let's cap our ish at like 60 or something like that.
Back then.
This is what I'm trying to tell you.
Damn.
Back
You
then.
you guys know how much that is back then, by the way. That's crazy.
But look at this though. 2006, when we were just coming in,
Yeah.
we're having a convo backstage at an awards show with Kabelo, Bugalove.
Dubula.
Dude, this nigga's telling us about shows that they were doing in 99, and these niggas were taking 120 per show.
Christ.
I'm like, what the hell, bro? And we out here in our prime, and
Right,
it's,
and you charging 60. That's
you feel
crazy.
me? But that's what it is, bro. That's
And, like,
just how the game
to
goes.
touch on when Venom mentioned the rebranding, right? Teargas to CashTime. And one thing, I think this is one of the most craziest moments in your life.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to bring that up because I had a different view to what was happening then. So when people refer to rebranding, there's many ways about it. There's the music, there's the how you dress and everything. Even go as far as how you look,
Yeah.
your body,
Yeah.
And I remember there was a huge saga on social media about you being sick and everything like that. Cool. But personally, I actually thought you were rebranding. I didn't even think you were sick or anything. I'm just like, those guys doing something.
Yeah.
Either it's on Herbalife or well, there was no Herbalife back then.
I remember niggas would say, niggas is on Herbalife, and I was never even anywhere close to
but
that bullshit.
I personally thought like you were rebranding to take care of that's coming in with CashTime Life,
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
And also, why did you take that test? So
So I actually wasn't even aware. Like I was so focused in trying to get in shape, and
Yeah.
I started getting into the jogging. I hated jogging. I still hate it to this day. But I started doing that, and I also had like a bike, and then so I was like cycling and shit like that,
Yeah.
And I remember at one point, I was on this one mean ass fat burner, right?
Yeah.
I think it's been banned now. I was on that shit, right?
Yeah.
And dude, so like as this whole thing is happening, right? Karakara is building up to this crazy thing that it's becoming. And then we went and we did a show at Zone 6. It was I think it was one of them authentic Sunday joints. It was.
I think the all white. Yeah. There was a picture of you trending.
My
I'll
nigga,
I'll
so
never forget.
Anyway, so we took a picture. It was me, AKA, and some of the guys from the team.
Yeah.
And then this shit goes out on Monday.
Mm-hmm.
And I see this picture. I'm like, damn, niggas is skinny. You feel me?
Yeah.
So and then like the unfortunate thing that happened at that time, Adama Shesha from Big Nas had also just died.
Yeah.
Right. So now people are like, oh yeah, so KO it might fuck around and be the you know what I mean? Like dumb shit like that, right? And I was dating a chick at the time who is a socialite as well. So like all this shit while it was happening. So now people are coming at her on some dumb shit on the side, like, yo, you alright?
Yeah, you're good.
Yeah.
Because you see,
You're smooth.
you know what I mean?
Looking pretty bony.
Hey,
This side.
I didn't want that to affect her on some dumb shit, you know. And also my family, some people were also saying all kinds of crazy because this thing was now like just like
it was
snowboarding
big,
into
bro.
some other
Yeah,
shit,
on
right?
Twitter,
I'm like, what the fuck?
yeah.
I'd never trended in my life, and then I'm seeing this shit going on. I'm like, damn, this is crazy.
Yeah.
So that's why I decided to fucking go and do a public test.
Okay,
And then I posted that shit, and then it obviously just like turned into something
Speaking
even
of,
bigger.
how do you deal with social media? You said you don't go through it.
Yeah.
You
So
don't search your name, but has it always been that way? Or
yeah, I had to actually for the first time, right? See, that's the toxicity about social media. So for the first time, right? Like, because I didn't give a fuck about no social media like that. But when that whole thing happened, after I posted my results, and now I'm clicking on my hashtag because I'm trying to go at everybody. Right? Like I'm just trigger happy. I'm just firing off at everyone. Like, you know what I mean? Because it really just like made me just look at the game, and I'm like, actually not even the game. I just looked at how toxic people are. The whole bullying and all those kind of crazy things. You know what I mean? Because also there's the flip side to that is, imagine if I was positive, I probably wouldn't have done that test.
Yeah.
So I also ended up dealing with people who were saying, yo, but if you're positive, you know what I mean?
Yeah, people will say that, yeah.
So why would you post that?
yeah.
You know, because it's also just psychologically affecting the people who are actually dealing with, you know, the virus, you know?
Yeah.
But it was a selfish moment where I felt like I needed validation right there and there, and just to clear my name, and also just like obviously the people around me
Yeah, to be safe
and
and
whatnot.
stuff,
I had to do what I had to do, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just to make sure that I come out straight. So when that whole thing happened, it just turned into a blessing because it ended up just adding to the fuel behind Karakara. Like that same week, Karakara just, you know, went number 1 on radio and all
I
those
also
kind of
once
crazy things.
posted
You
my
know?
status, and it was just like, if you're positive, would you have posted? How?
You know what I mean?
Okay, then I won't post next time, I guess, you know. But
Did you go through a rock star phase, bro? Like peak tear gas.
Peak KO or peak tear gas.
Peak tear
This
gas.
how KO used to greet people. Take out your hand. All right, clean boy.
Nah, that's cap. That's cap. I don't know.
No,
I
I'm
don't know
kidding.
about
I'm
that.
kidding.
I
I'm
remember
kidding.
you were on the fist before.
Nah. See, that's cap. That's cap
real?
as well, because I remember like, dude, there was just so much at the time.
Happening,
Like
yeah.
when the whole thing with even that whole thing, the rumor was going up.
Yeah.
When the whole thing was happening. For some reason, now I'm seeing certain people saying all kinds of crazy things. Even when like the whole CashTime Life thing ended, it's just all kinds of things coming out of the woodworks. You know, people saying, "Yeah, good thing homie's going through this because homie used to do this, that, and the third." Like even with the fist bump and all that shit, I'm like, bro, when the fuck did I ever do that? You know what I mean? Like there was just so much, like the misconception, and unfortunately, because I'm such an introverted individual, like just keep to myself, and I'm fucking socially awkward. You feel me? So I don't really be out there like that. So some people will just take that. I was like, oh, so niggas is cocky, boom, boom, boom. Niggas don't want to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I wasn't aware of all these misconceptions that were actually happening. So when again the rebranding that started happening after the CashTime demise, leading up to Super Duper and all that other shit, it was also just like me consciously now factoring all these possible things where I'm like, all right, cool. So I'm trying to crush that. Now being out there a little bit more and being more open to, you know, to people and all that kind of things. So like, it's been so many things, bro. Like it's been a whirlwind of so many
even
things.
just
bro.
with this interview, like there's so many things we want to ask and break it down, because like I mentioned earlier on, you don't really do a lot of interviews. Even before Corona, you know, you're very selective on where your energy goes and stuff like that, you know. And I'm trying to squeeze everything as much as I can, you know.
Sir.
So
Let's talk about it.
yeah, before let's break down. CashTime Life comes into place, and then people start leaving.
Yeah.
Why? You know, people don't actually know that Smash was part of it. Then he left, right?
So, here's what happened. So now that I can tell you.
Yeah.
Right? So remember I told you he was part of CashTime Fam?
Yeah.
And then when CashTime Life was created, when it was formalized, and then all these other individuals, the Mugses and the Moozes and and everyone else was being, brought into this melting pot, which was now CashTime Life. He wasn't part of that conversation. I deliberately did that. That was me.
So you took out
Yeah, I left him
Zinger.
out. Yeah, I left him out on purpose.
Why?
So he's a young dude, right? And I had seen him because I picked him up. When I met him, he was 19, 20.
Yeah.
Right? During the whole CashTime Fam situation. And just the way that he was conducting himself behind closed doors, he just needed to mature. You feel me? Like the guy that you're seeing.
Don't you feel like you also went through that?
I mean,
He
I
was
did.
young though.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
And I also did. You know, I went through that myself, but I learned the game my own way. You know, no one opened the door for me.
Yeah.
Right? And no one told me I needed to do this, then I had to learn shit, and I had to fail at things for me to learn, oh shit, you don't have to do that.
Yeah.
Right? So here I am, I'm his big brother.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yo, don't do this, don't do this, don't do this. I'm always checking homie, and like, cause everyone else is a sweetheart.
But he was a pretty boy, light skin.
Yeah, that was a
Exactly,
problem.
you know what I mean?
Guys, babies want him. Yeah.
Yeah, you know, so like, I'm seeing all that stuff, and he's getting gas so early, and the work ethic is not looking as good as the Kid X's of this world, right?
Yeah.
I'm like, yo, get it together, you know, and it just wasn't penetrating at the time, you know.
Okay.
So I'm like, all right, cool. I'm gonna have to give you this crazy, tough love.
Yeah.
It's gonna help you in the long run. Maybe you might hate me right now, or everyone else might hate me, but it's gonna help you in the long run, right?
Word.
The entire time when people are sitting there saying, "Oh yeah, so they left out homie too,"
Yeah.
right? Because there was also a thing like, you know, when, you know, they were mocking him and Dukes of the fact that they were not part of
the thing.
CashTime,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
The entire time, I'm actually talking to this kid, like
Telling him,
to this
yo.
day, like we freaking close, bro. Like
Yeah, I know now. Like, yeah.
we are freaking close
Yeah.
because every other day, like he would tell me like, bro, like if you hadn't done that shit, like I don't know, I'll probably be on drugs. I'll probably
Yeah,
be.
people took it personal because I was just like, okay,
I know.
Kid X is out, you know, blowing and like waist smashes, you know.
Yeah, you know.
That's wild, man.
So I mean, as a big brother, I felt like he needed to go through that,
Yeah.
and maybe and he said it on a lot of, you know, public platforms that situation actually helped him find himself, and you know he's grateful he had to go
Yeah.
through that type of shit, you know.
Speaking of hard decisions, as an entrepreneur and as a businessman, what are some of the hardest decisions you had to make for a better, in the long run, will give a better result?
I had to make choices at times that didn't favor friendships, but that favored business.
Okay.
You know, and one of the reasons why CashTime ended up, you know, playing out the way that it did is because I had to make business choices over friendship.
Did you sign most of those artists based off them being talented or more of a business move?
It was a business move and obviously talent.
Okay.
Right? And also there was friendship involved. So
Yeah.
it's 3 layers.
Yeah.
You feel me?
Okay.
So that's how it was built. And then suddenly, because obviously there is now, I had a business partner who was my manager at the time,
Yeah.
Scholar, hip hop scholar.
Yes, sir.
You
The
know,
OG.
you feel me?
Yeah.
And you know, he was just the one guy that was just cracking the whip and making sure that we are all on the straight and narrow. So there was some staunch decisions that had to be made.
Yeah.
You know, and I mean, if me and you are like OG friends and whatnot, and then suddenly now Banks is my business partner, and then there's certain decisions that have to be made just for the sake of the business.
Yeah.
And then now you have to take the L. Suddenly now you're looking at me like a bitch. You're like,
Yeah,
oh shit, this
yeah.
nigga switched up. Niggas
Yeah.
blew up and switched up on me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So there was those kind of moments that I had to take, decisions like that I had to take that we had to make because just for the betterment of the business and you know, being that the foundation of the entire thing was mostly friendship. Suddenly, when that's the thing when they say don't get into business with friends,
yeah.
you know, because once business, you know, starts actually taking full its place, you know, a lot of people get left in the on the waistline. You know what I mean? So
Speaking of that, I think one of the biggest shock to everyone was Nomuzi signing under you guys, right? And I think because everyone knew Nomuzi has presenter, you know,
because VG said, yo, I think the game needs a female
rapper.
artist.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, cool. Who do you have in mind? And then all these other people, I wasn't feeling, and it was like, yo, I think let's give Homegirl a shot.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, cool. I like her energy anyway. So we brought her on board, and then we started building and, you know,
Yeah,
putting music
apparently
together.
did you write the Don't Worry? You know the track Speedster featuring Nomuzi, Don't Worry. Apparently you wrote for Nomuzi. Or was
So-
the
Was it
song
X?
made already?
So here's the thing, like, I don't know. I don't really want to get into that. You
Yeah.
feel me? Because I don't know what the narrative is out there. But what I can tell you is, for the first time, when I was listening to, just watching the landscape and SA hip hop as far as females are concerned, for the first time, I felt like I became a fan of a female artist. There was a female hip hop artist in this country, because whether someone might have helped her or not, but dude, like, don't tell me when y'all heard her, dog.
It was
She
hard.
was
It was
blowing
hard.
on that thing.
Besides the shit that she was saying,
Yeah.
dude, like, she was standing next to us and she was looking like the superstar in that
She took
bitch.
charge, eh? She took charge.
Bro.
I was like, whoa.
You feel me?
That's because the rumors were, yo, K was behind the pen. Dog, whether K was fucking behind the pen or
It
not,
doesn't fucking
she
matter.
She moved on that song like, yo.
It doesn't matter who we might have helped, but like, you know, I mean, it wasn't, I mean, I might have guided, but there was also, you know, it was a team effort, you know. I mean, there will be moments where we just on in the studio, just throwing her ideas and, you know what I mean, and then building records together. So that's how, you know, she actually just like built herself like that, and the confidence was just like through the roof. And then,
Shut dope on you.
yeah,
Don't
I mean,
worry too much.
and you know, the sad part is, one of the first decisions, the tough ones that I had to make, was when the call was made that we need to drop No Muzi. Dude,
Why?
that broke my heart. But I had to for the business.
Yeah.
I had to stick with Homie, because that's what Homie felt was needed at the time, because, and rightfully so, because there was a discrepancy that had happened. I'm not gonna get into details, you know, being that she was with us and, you know, we were doing her management, and there was certain business opportunities that were coming on board, but we were not being involved in that, you know.
Yeah.
So, you know, the Homie was like, yo, I think it's better we just cut ties, you know, if we don't want to go through the back and forth with, you know what I mean? And then boom, because I was actually, like, to me, I was so excited. This was 2015. I was so excited. I was like, dang, all right, cool. After KO, yeah, cool. I think Kid X might fuck around and be the next big guy, but I think No Muzi might fuck around and be the biggest out of the team.
Artist, yeah.
You feel me?
Yeah.
And then suddenly, boom, that whole thing just...
How do you feel about female MCs right now?
If I'm being real with you, I'm not really paying too much attention, you know, because
Are they not making enough noise? Or?
not that they not, you know, I just feel like, to me, dude, I gotta feel you, bro. So speaking of, like, to me, it's not even about like who reps the bass and whatnot. Like, speaking of like the feeling,
Yeah, the energy. Yeah.
one of my favorite records right now, just from feeling, I gotta feel you, my nigga. Like, there's this record, Petty Machiavelli by 25K.
5K. Oh.
Get the fuck out of here, bro. Like,
Yo, it's too much. Though.
you know what I mean? Like, I gotta feel, I don't care how good of an MC you are, bro. If I can't feel you, bro, like, just feel the pain and like where this shit is coming from, I can't relate. So I could tell you now, I mean, I heard all the females and, you know, how nice they are, and the pen is sounding crazy, you know, they're well polished, and, you know what I mean, they're looking like pop stars and whatnot. But like, no one has really made me sit there and be like, oh shit, like, damn, like she's doing that, you know? So that's just my personal take. That's how I'm feeling right now.
There's so much to ask. So now, 2014, Skhanda Republic.
Yes, sir.
This track is the biggest track.
Wait,
First
mission statement.
Yeah.
Was that you making an announcement about your rebrand?
Yeah. Most
Literally a
definitely.
mission
Yeah.
statement.
Yeah. Like, I just felt like that's how that whole title came about. Like, and also just like what I was trying to achieve, you know, like on this new journey, being a solo artist. I'm like, yo, you're not gonna look at me. You don't judge me based on my previous work. Judge me from what I do from here forth. You know what I mean?
So that was Soko.
Yeah, that's Soko. Soko, the same.
So is he still?
He's in the States.
Still
He's in the
States,
States.
eh?
Yeah, he's an artist now, also out there. Yeah.
Dancehall type thing going
Yeah,
on.
yeah,
That's dope. So
yeah.
now 2014, Kara drops, right?
Yes, sir.
The camp, it's who's the Prince Lunatic, right?
You know, ooh,
It's too much.
GOAT.
Is it too much?
Yes,
but
sir.
Apparently, you guys had a fallout though.
Yeah, so, and it broke my heart. So 2016, I dropped a record called Corruption. And then, so we had made that beat with Lunatic the year before. So it was sitting in the can.
Which beat the Kara?
The Corruption joint.
Oh, corruption.
Right. So suddenly, when when that record came out, there's obviously this hate train going on social media or whatnot. It doesn't matter. And then him and City Lights, because now they were under ambitious and whatnot. Suddenly I'm just like being thrown under the bus by both of them on social media. I'm like, wait, what the fuck did I do? And then homies are talking about, yeah, you out there stealing from youngins, this, that, and the third. You're not paying niggas. I'm like, oh wait, this is crazy, because I hadn't paid him for that beat, and it just literally came out that day.
Yeah.
So I call him. All right. I'm like, yo, Luna, what did I do to you? Do I owe you any money? Because I paid you for the entire album. Skhanda Republic we did together. You have your publishing, you have everything else. You know what I mean? So when City Lights is saying the shit that he's saying, because I know you guys are, our buddies. What the fuck? What did I do? And then I'm like, because even for this beat, this joint just came out today.
Yeah.
I normally pay you shortly after the song drops, right? And then 2 weeks later, I paid him his money for it, And then the same day it was like, okay, cool, now, sorry, big homie, I'm going to delete the tweets. And he deleted the tweets and whatnot, right?
Yeah.
But like, it just hurt me because I'm like, damn, like I've done so many good things, for other people. I don't owe nobody anything, and then now I'm being thrown under the bus. So obviously it fitted at the time because this was now at the height of the whole CashTime Life thing going down, so everyone just like chiming in to throw me under the bus and whatnot. So I took that to heart for a hot minute. Yeah. And then I wasn't fucking with City Lights as a result as well, because I also called him like, yo, what the fuck did I do, And, he also still was feeling some type of way on the phone when I was talking to him. And then eventually, the first time I spoke to him, and we didn't even touch on this, and that's the beauty about just, when you understand that, like, when you are dealing with young bloods, they come around.
Yeah, you need to be patient.
You know what I mean?
Time,
so...
You need to be patient with the young bloods.
Yeah, so, eventually, and then we actually linked up, me and City Lights, for the first time, and then unfortunately, it was under the not the best time, but it was when his brother passed away, Pro Kid, and then we just kicked it, and then just the camaraderie, started building again from that day onwards. So this was obviously 2018 or whatever, right? So, and then I've been cool with City Lights ever since, but I still wasn't cool with Luna, right? Cause, and then also that also still wasn't sitting right with me, because I'm like, wait, so I didn't really have no static with City Lights. It was obviously because of him being around Luna and whatnot, whatever that was being said in my absence. But now I'm cool with City Lights and I'm not cool with this nigga. Like the Robin to Batman, the Pippen to, to MJ.
Yeah.
Fuck that. I need to fix that. And so 2021, for the first time, I pick up the phone and I called Luna, and we just started building, and then he actually made my K-Hova.
Do you feel that Lunatic played a huge part in your career?
I just said now, bro, that's Robin.
Yeah.
That's Robin. I'm Batman. I'm MJ. He's Pippen, my nigga.
That's
like
crazy. On the label, you have the new kids, Roy, Loki.
Yes, sir.
DJ Mr. X.
Yes, sir.
Just tell us about them, like.
So, so Skhanda Republic, that was obviously my album, but like to make the shit more inclusive, that's why we ended up just calling it Skhanda World, because we wanted everyone else to tap into it, you know what I mean? So that's how now, we created the clothing brand, created the clothing label, the record label as well. So the guys, we officially launched the label last year with just my E and Loki. And then later on, towards the end of the year, we brought in Roy and everything. And then this year, we just introduced DJ Mr. X, who's got a banger right now, with Asambe featuring myself, Loki, and
crazy.
Roy and Cass. And I salute to Cass, by the way. Congrats on the new album. And then also my E, who's also still part of the fold. And then we have Just Biggie, who is a Afro pop, vocalist. You know what I mean? So that's what we're doing.
So yeah, just before we wrap up, 15 years it's a long time.
Yes,
you know?
sir.
And I know there's still so much more you still want to accomplish. And for the last question I have for you, what is KO's purpose?
My purpose, dog, I think I was brought to this world to share my blessings with others. You know what I'm saying? Like, not only in music, but I've manifested that in my family.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? People that are closest to me, you don't even have to be blood related to me, but like I've looked out for people, the best way that I possibly can, So even with this, again, like I was saying, I could still continue and just being KO, just on the solo run. Tell you one thing, without dragging this too much, cool, niggas came back, super duper, niggas is moving, and then I'm sitting there posting pictures on the gram, but it's just me. It's all just me, like I'm all by myself. It feels foreign to me because I come from a group, I come from the CashTime Life movement, and then suddenly I'm standing there all by myself. So that's why we decided to go and now bring in these new guys, you know what I mean? And also continue just the journey of blessing other people, and sharing the platform with them.
Before wrap it up, I know you on the track here, Hova, you mentioned about getting your flowers, and just now on the show you mentioned about
yes, sir.
You are demanding, you want your flowers, and and on behalf of the Banques and Venom show and YFM and everything you've done for the culture for all these years, we have decided to get you your flowers.
That's crazy.
Yeah, man. So,
Yo,
Don't fall down.
crazy. I appreciate that, though. I appreciate that. Like on some real shit. Check this out. I need my girl to see this too. Yo, no one has ever given me flowers in my life.
really, that's crazy.
I've never received a bouquet in my life.
Yeah, man.
So this is actually I respect this, like on some real shit. It's so much that I still want to do. You know what I mean? The journey is still continuing. I'm working on my next album and it's sounding crazy. You feel me? So if you guys love the Hova record, there's more where it came from.
Thank you so much, bro. Thank you for making Banks' dream come true.
Yes, sir.
On the flip side, everybody, please don't forget to subscribe, like, repost, share this thing. Shout out KO.
Ice cold, undeniable. Tunzini local follow love is feeling right at home. Zone, I suppose. Well, I don't know. Sober as a judge, nominate the coolest.